All right. This is the Illest Podcast Show, and I'm your host, as always, Mr. Pierre Sledge. So let's talk about it. Black History Month. I am a Black American. I was thinking about this today, and I was remembering that it is Black History Month, and I started to kind of reflect on when Black History Month comes around. Do I even talk about it? And the quick response was that no, I don't really have too many conversations about people every year about Black history. And it made me start to think, well, do we need Black history? Now, hold on. Before some of you jump all over me and go I'm a Uncle Tom and all that, I ask because it seems that we all want equality and inequity. No more inequity, I'm sorry. And if that is truly the case, then why should these accentuations be made for certain groups if we all just want to be equal? Ultimately, I feel like Black history is American history. And I think it's kind of it's a conflicting feeling when you set things aside like this, and not just Black history, other history months too, or this, that, and the other, whatever. They're trying to celebrate everything every month, but with Black history, it just seems like as long as we continue to make this distinguish us, it's going to keep us, in my opinion, right where we are. And right where we are is in a world full of race baiting, clickbaiting, with race as the trigger. And if you look around, it's 2025 and things are still about race. And in 24, I can't remember things being more about race than 24. So 25, I guess you got some catching up to do. But I don't think this is healthy what we're doing. And not that I'm saying we shouldn't fight for equality and racial togetherness and diversity. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think it's nonsense to put something above other things. And it's really, it's like placating to me, because nothing, in terms of, if you take away all the what Black people seem to think is White History Month, which is the other 11th month in the year. If you take that away, what other months do we really know about? There are other months. There's Hispanic Heritage Month and some other ones as well. But how can we be equal when we still make moves like this? I think it's just placating towards Black people to try to get us to feel like, oh, this this does this for us. And to be honest with you, I can't say that it does. Not as an adult, I don't feel like this. I mean, I've gone decades without Black History Month meaning really anything to me, or really probably the people around me. I never have conversations about this. Now, you take that away, and do I have pockets of times during the year that there are things that regarding Black people that I am looking for or looking at? Absolutely. I don't need Black History Month to prompt me. It's just how it goes, With that said, though, I feel like Black History Month can be important. Like when I was a kid, I guess it was a means to look at myself and look at others as important. But I think during my time, which was, let's say, let's go the 70s and the 80s, most of my world was black, so I didn't really see any difference in us anyway. That's what I mostly saw. So I was never putting anyone above us anyway. So I don't know if it's like that for other people. I don't know if it has been like that for other people during their formative years in school. But there were times when it did make me think about things, and I guess when I did encounter others. But with that said, I think that there should come a time where Black History Month is no longer needed. And I think that's because we have to understand that when we say Black History Month, it takes it away from American. It takes it away from America. And ultimately, Black History Month and Black history is American history. And you don't get one without the other. So I think it's ultimately just a part of American history, which American history has little subcategories and subgroups. But it's a melting pot. It's a gumbo. No one eats a food like that and just takes one part out and eats it. They just take it all in. And I think that that's a good analogy for how American history should be looked at, or should be digested, if you will. Black History Month is, I don't think most Americans, I don't think most Americans at all. It's not just Black Americans. I don't think most Black Americans even acknowledge it. I don't know. I don't think the people around me, that's for sure. I'm around diverse people all the time. I'm around people who are not the same color as me all the time, and I never get from them any conversation while we talk about everything, but I never get any conversation from them about Black History Month. And I've been asked questions about Black people and things like that, but never really prompted during Black History Month, which is almost the safe card to let you know, hey, you can ask a Black person about this and get an answer without getting beat up month. That's kind of what it is for you. You know, go ahead and ask a question. But I don't get questions. I don't get inquiries or anything like that. I don't know, but I do at other times in the month. So I don't know. It just, you know, some of the things that Morgan Freeman said, he was probably the biggest name to ever say something about it's unneeded. Black History Month is unneeded. He thinks for the same reasons. It goes against American history, and not that it goes against it. It's just like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. How can you have talk of the Civil War without the element of Black people? You can't. It just doesn't happen. So I'm not discounting the need to know about each other at all. I just think that we need to learn about each other within the context of each other. And it isn't always given that way. When you say Black History Month, it's almost like, well, shit on everybody else and concentrate on Blacks. Or, you know, I don't know. That's kind of how I could see some others taking it. And I know the comeback will be, well, we've been getting shit on for all this time, blah, 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 blah. Again, if we take that attitude, how are we going to reach this mythical equality that you all are reaching for? I just don't think it exists. But I think the more we single out and accentuate things like this, I think that's going to keep us in the same lane that we're in. Race baiting topics, race being at the top of everything, race being used as a diversion, identity politics, and so on and so forth, and all this stuff. And I think it's I don't think this helps, and especially I think it's just placating, and that isn't real to me. And I haven't really learned much. I mean, I look at it like this: if I can't trust the books, why should I trust the books that are now telling me Black history? It's kind of like, okay, this isn't the sources the same. I mean, why do we need Black History Month if there are no different sources? Can't these sources they come up with all these Black accomplishments and historical firsts that have happened, can't they be around all year? And I'm saying that if they are around all year, then why do we need Black History Month to push it? It's always there. It's always there. If you go to Google and ask, do we need Black History Month? This is what ultimately comes up. Yes, Black History Month is important because it celebrates the contributions of Black people and promotes equality and justice. It also helps people learn about the diversity of American society. Okay, I like that. I like the last sentence, the diversity of American society. It's hard to look at Black History Month and this month and that month as being, I only think this way because of where we're at. Everybody's just about at everybody. Well, they're mostly pitting white against black. Let's be real. But it's not gonna this isn't gonna bring us closer. That's what I don't see. I don't see this bringing us closer. And under the whys, under Google, it says recognizes accomplishments and celebrates the achievements of Black leaders and activists who have impacted the world. Sure, you could, yeah, it points to those things, but again, these are coming from the same sources that are always there. Promotes diversity, acknowledges the diversity of American society and the contributions of all people. Okay, all people to me would go under American. They even say here American society, not Black society, American society. So diversity America is diversity. It's interchangeable in some ways. So I don't know. Again, why do we need to me, Black History Month is about Black people, not anyone else. So where is the diversity there? I don't know, just saying. Then third, it has unites people. I've already debunked that. I don't know where are you at where it's Black people are walking around with their heads higher and their shoulders nice and broad and solid, and everybody's just walking around like they're just the shit and nobody can touch them. And they got Asian people behind them and white people behind them saying, "Yay, Black." Where is that at? I don't know. I don't see where this is uniting us. These 28 to 29 days. I haven't seen it. I see commercials. I see some signs. And when you're going out shopping, it may say something here and there, but that's really about it. I'm not in school anymore, so I don't know what they're doing. But if we're saying that the books are bullshit, which most of us do, then why will we even go there with this? So again, then we have to pretty much look to the internet for our promotions of all of this. And again, some of the sources are the same. I don't know. But yeah, I don't see anywhere where this is uniting us any more than normal. And even if it does, it turns into it turns into a Christmassy like effect. People do it for the month of February, and then they go back to being their same old prejudiced selves or whatever, whatever it is, you know. Next, it says Black History challenges history textbooks, highlights lesser known figures and events that are often left out of history books. I'll give you that. I will give you that. I have learned some things during Black History Month that have been lesser known facts or figures. But I've also learned these things in just watching a movie in September. So, I'm not saying that this doesn't. I think this, out of all these, I think this is probably the most important, because if you keep saying here's Black History Month and here's the book to learn from, if that textbook is tainted, then what good is it? So, challenging history books to me is important. And lastly, it says it promotes racial justice, serves as a symbolic celebration of the role Black history plays in the pursuit of racial justice and equality. Okay. I'll give you that. I think it's trying to. I think it's trying to promote racial justice. But here's the thing. The thing about Black History Month is this, is that while it does this, it only really does it in terms of, or I'll say it mostly does it in terms of Black people. You have to know, if you're an adult, even if you're maybe a teenager who is interested in these things, you have to know that this whole movement, this whole historical point was not just on the shoulders of Black people. There are countless others who have been involved in the struggle, in this struggle specifically, that there's never any story about, that we never acknowledge. And I think, and it sucks because there are a lot of white people who never bought into this nonsense. There are a lot of others who just never bought into any of this, and who, for the same reasons that Black people had to be quiet, they had to be quiet. But there are also some who were out in the front lines, who risked their lives, who risked their family association, who risked their employment to say, hey, I am in lockstep with these people. And I rebuke this nonsense that they're lesser. There are plenty of people that helped, allies, whatever you want to call them. There are plenty of others. And I bring that up not because I want to bring down Black people, but because I'm looking like you. I'm just seeing things more in a wholeness, or a macro than a micro. So in that, I know that there was a shitload of people who were there helping Black people, and they just kind of get the once over, and they keep it moving. But come on, man, if there was a Black slave who made it to freedom and he did some great things, why don't, in some cases, there was a very prominent white person that helped him. Why don't we talk about that? And why is it just that their curse is just being born white. That it's just, you wouldn't want that generalization made about what black people. So why do we generalize that just all black or all white people at the time were just shitheads? It's not true. It's not true. And I don't think that the other ethnic groups get any type of love when it comes to black history. But that's why I just can't look at it as black history. I look at it as American history. Everything's involved, not just black people. Everything's involved. Native Americans are involved. A lot of people don't know that. There's some Native Americans who had slaves, and a lot of these things are just not like you thought. But I think tell the whole story. Tell all the stories. Not just in this way, because I think you want to make black people feel better about themselves. And hey, Pierre Sledge feels good about himself. I don't need this to raise me up, because I don't think that there's any white person or any Asian person or any Indian person or any of the other people, any Jewish person who is above me. I don't think they're any closer to God. I don't think they're any more chosen than I am. I don't think that they're necessarily smarter, or they might be smarter in a section of life. Sure, they may be more adept at something than I am, but I guarantee you there's going to be something I'm better at. So I don't look at anybody above me. I don't. But I will connect with people of all ethnic backgrounds, and I get from them different things. And that's just how the world is. I think that's how the world is, and that's how it should be. Not this, hey, we need to tell these people how great they are, and this this pandering and placating for the masses. It's just, if everyone wants to be equal, then why do we have to keep singling everybody out and telling them, hey, they're great this month? Okay. I guess it's a shout out. It's ultimately a shout out. So if you want your shout out, fine, have it. But it's like, dude, someone's is only 12 months. Someone's always going to feel left out. Someone's always going to feel like, hey, they're not talking about this, or hey. So it's like, just, hey, we're all Americans here. We love the great country of America, and we're happy to be here, blah, blah, blah. Okay? But let's be Americans. Let's be Americans in knowing that, hey, during the Civil War, there were some black companies. We had the Tuskegee Airmen. This should be basic knowledge at this point. All these things. There shouldn't have to be movies made to necessarily inform, but rather to just depict, because we all should know these things by now. So what say you? That's my time. And I hope this can spark some good conversation about the subject of black history. And the question is, do you think we need it anymore? Or is there a better way to celebrate black people as well as all people? I'm your host of the Illest Podcast, Pierre Sledge, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.